All right, how's it going? My name is IPA Fan. This is Church of Chug, and we're of course going to be talking about Irish beers. And what better way to start than I'm going to be going with a Guinness Chug. Never chugged a Guinness. We'll see how it goes. Uh, Ice Queen.
Ice Queen, and I picked up some Smithwick's Red Ale. I had never tried this before, so I'm gonna be chugging this one.
Nice. Ricky.
All right, Ricky with the good beers here. I am going to be chugging a Sullivan's Brewing Company, Irish Gold Golden Ale.
Nice.
Never had it. We'll see.
J-Hump.
The Wet Men here, and I also got a Guinness, but it's a nitro cold brew Guinness. Because I'm sleepy, so I'm gonna.
That's a good way.
Wait. Is that an actual coffee or is that a beer?
It's a beer too. 4%.
Okay, cool. Drunken Monkey.
Drunken Monkey, I'm going with Guinness as well in my St. Patty's glass.
Nice.
It's a regular stout, drop stout.
Al?
I'm actually going to be doing a Killian's Irish Red, which I've had. I think everybody's had it before. So that's my chug.
And no longer a special guest. Sorry, we got that title removed, but now full-on member. We got Henry.
Well, Hopper is here. I'm not actually going to chug a Irish beer, but I do have my Irish beers for today, both Killian's and Murphy Stout. So I'm just going to be chugging a Hackensaw Lager from Elementary.
Nice. Cool. Well, I think it's just in order to give a chug to our newest member, Henry. Drunken Monkey, why don't you go ahead and count it down?
Awesome. Glasses up. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
I failed. Totally failed that one.
Oh man.
This is
Carbonation.
I forgot this was in the freezer and I took it out about 3 minutes ago. It's way too cold to drink. So that's my first fail. I will finish it though.
Mine was super cold too.
It's super corny though. I don't know whoever else is drinking a red ale. Totally malty, corny, syrupy.
Yeah, I was looking at the hops in this one. It's called First Gold and Admiral hops. I guess some old school hops, right? Bitter as fuck, but it's also very malty too. Like I get that. It was just a different mouthfeel, and it took a minute to get it down.
It's kind of toasty. This one is
Right.
the red ale is really toasty. Nice.
That's how mine started off, Cisco.
Love that. I love that.
What's everybody? I'm sorry. What's everybody else doing as far as their? What are we drinking as far as the non-chugged beers go?
So I'm sticking with a Guinness. I actually got a Guinness 4-pack. And one of my favorite things is actually just watching it go down. I just think that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I can't remember why I thought this, but I thought Guinness was a little bit thicker. But right now, the mouthfeel and everything on just chugging it was super smooth and thin. Not what I expected, or not what I remembered, but pretty damn great.
So
It's all those IPAs that are like nectar that you've been drinking.
Right. Did you know that there's a barrel aged Guinness?
I did not.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw Proper Josh post that, and I went to go look for it today, but they said it's a seasonal beer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was mad a little bit.
Sam, what are you going to be?
Same as you. Got the drought bottles, drought stouts. Yeah, I also remember Guinness feeling thicker until I started drinking more beer. And then I realized, this is not really.
It's pretty thin, right?
Yeah. Plus, after you've had barrel aged stouts and then you drink this, it's kind of like this is smooth.
Ricky?
So I got same company, Sullivan's. This is their Maltings Irish Ale. Guess we'll give it a try.
Nice.
I never had it, never seen this company. I just basically went into the store and there was a little area that had Irish beers, and I picked up the two that I thought three that I thought was the best, I guess.
Cool. What man?
Going with the Killians as my cruiser. So kind of the opposite order that Al did.
Okay. Cool.
Because you're cruising with I looked like you were pouring a Guinness.
J-Hup.
I'll be cruising with O'Hara's Irish Red.
So I'm curious, before you start cruising with that, how was the chug of the coffee?
Super smooth.
Yeah.
Super smooth.
Henry?
So I'm just going with your traditional, dry Irish stout Murphy's. So pretty good head retention on it,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Al, I think you got a.
I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of the Guinness draft and the Murphy's Stout draft.
Nice.
So see which one fares better.
Yeah, they
I have a question. Have any of you guys been to Ireland and actually had beer there? Over here? No.
Nah.
I hope to, but I haven't been.
I will say this, the Irish people that I've worked with that are right off the boat say that their Guinness Stout is much more creamier and smoother there than it is here.
It is.
That's what I've heard from many Irish
By
people.
the time it gets here, it's all washed down and shit, huh?
But I think it's licensed here to be made in here. So, I mean, I would imagine it tastes much
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
abroad.
I actually had Guinness in Vegas a couple years ago on cask, actually.
Nice.
Nice.
So that's a different flavor profile as well too.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so they have Guinness. They have Guinness that you can only get in Ireland, like a certain variety of it or a certain style of it. Is that what you're gonna say?
no, I think they were just saying that like the taste and composition of it is just different in Ireland. But I would think that's kind of like the whole Coca-Cola type mentality of like you make your product for wherever it is.
Right.
Right.
Supposedly like Coke for Japan is very different than the US Coca-Cola, which
Right.
it is what it is,
Has anybody noticed the high ABV on their cans?
No.
'Cause it's not
Mine's
there.
is-
It's
Mine's
like
is
4%.
4.3.
Yeah, it's
4%.
stouts are not very high ABV. Like
Does anybody else have a red? Are those reds? The Killians?
the
That's a
Killian,
red.
yeah, I have a Killian.
This is a red, but it's Smithwick's red. It was 4.5.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
5.
Killian's Red.
What's Guinness? I don't see it for some reason.
Guinness is 4.2.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
The regular Guinness is should be 4.2, and the drafts is probably even like lower.
Damn. I will say though, like something I noticed, like I said, not England or not Ireland. I went to England, and a lot of their beers were really low percentage as well, but they get you. Like granted, I was drinking cask the whole time, but a lot of the beers I had, I think the highest I had was like a 6%. Everything was like a 5 or a 4, but you drink about 5 of those and they're going to get you. There's, they're not US 4s, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of European beers, especially England and Ireland. They make them so low ABV that they want you to continue drinking them and drinking them and drinking them. So by the time you've had like 6 or 7, you're trashed.
How
Like
crazy
when
is that? Because you could have 5 or 6 American 8%ers and then, be on a good one. But how is 4%, which is a lot lower, doing the same thing to you?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I've never been able to figure that out either. Certain parts of the world you go to, you have a low ABV spirit or a beer, and it'll totally get you in an instant.
I think
And they
there's a
also
low-
drink them at a higher temperature too, like room temperature, like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not cold.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's the way I like it, man.
Especially cask beers, you always need closer to room temp.
Yeah.
Only way to do
Does
it.
bring out all the flavors.
I hadn't had a red ale or an Irish ale in a long time, and it's taking me back. Like it's really good, man. It's biscuity and like malty.
So I'm curious, Sam, since you had the Smithwick's, which I used to love back in the day. What did you think of it? Granted, you chugged it, but
I did chug it, but I did let it sit out in the sun for a little while, and I think it was good to let it warm up some. It was good. I like beers with good heads on them. I'm sure I'd say that before in other episodes. And it like maintained it even after sitting in the sun for at least 10 minutes. So that was nice. I like the smells. I like the maltiness to it. It was really good.
Yeah.
I did forget that I had this Guinness from Rit, and it's the Over the Moon Milk Stout from Guinness that they actually brewed in Baltimore, though. So I would think I'm gonna drink this one too. This will be my.
That's a good one.
how's that different from the traditional Guinness, Rich?
It's so what they did was the brewery in Baltimore, they actually brought in some brewers from California. There's one from San Diego, and there's another one from, God, I can never remember the place. Anyway, they kind of allowed them to play around with the recipe and do what they wanted to do to try to come up with new things because of how popular craft beer is here. So they do the typical stouts and everything. They also do a blonde ale, and then they started playing around with other things like the milk stout. It's a little bit creamier than the, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say that it's creamier than the typical Guinness, because I think the typical Guinness is very creamy and smooth. But this one, I don't know, it does taste a little bit smoother to me.
It says it has coffee in this one too.
Yeah. It has a little bit more of a roasty taste.
So I'm curious, when it says coffee, does that actually mean, I wouldn't think, but does that actually mean like they put like condensed coffee or whatever it is and pour it into the batch? Or is it just like the coffee beans that are sitting there?
It might just be from the toasting of the malts. You get that coffee taste. Might not even have, it doesn't have coffee. I mean, unless they add coffee, but
Right.
you know, if you're getting a coffee smell, and most likely just from the toasting of the, you know, the malts and stuff before they brew with it.
Right.
Is that
But,
what you're drinking
Usually
right now?
your chocolate malt, yeah.
but both Ice Queen and J Hump had something that said coffee. So I'm wondering, like, how did
Oh,
they
that's
put
right.
that?
Yeah,
in
you
there?
did.
Well, this one
Does
actually
that
only
matter?
says, this one says notes of chocolate and coffee. So it could be
Ah, okay.
toasted, but I think his was actual coffee.
His probably had, yeah,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
J-Hub is actually a coffee beer.
Yeah, it says beer with coffee. So
Yep.
Yeah.
it had the little thingy in there for the
Oh, yeah.
the
the
nitro.
little
Yeah, the
widget.
cartridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, CO2
Always love
cartridge.
those things.
For those
Do they
light
Anytime I open one of those up, I think it's gonna overflow.
Do they change it? Because I remember like back in the day, it was almost like a circle, and then I cracked one open, and it was different shaped.
Oh, I don't know. I think I saw
The
somebody
circle.
post something the other day. Or like they poured a Guinness in there. Like there's something in my can. They're trying to figure out.
There you go, Cisco. You're gonna cut it open later, so.
It's the little ball I just saw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like a little plexi ball, whatever.
So what's the point of that? Is that just to keep it conditioned in the whole time, or?
That's a CO2.
That is
Oh,
actually,
really?
Crack it open.
that's actually nitrogen in it.
Nitro.
Ah,
Crazy.
That's what gives you that draft style foamy head, that creamy, foamy, fluffy head that's still retaining right now. I hadn't
yeah.
didn't drink either one of these yet, but still maintaining their heads.
So I'm curious, when we talk about Irish beers, you know, we get that mentality of like malty and all that, and the flavor and all that. But I want to go into like actual ideas, like of your past shenanigans, if you will. What do you guys remember of Irish beers? Because I know everybody has at least one good memory of Irish beers, or not so good memory. Anyone want to share?
For me, it's Irish car
Ladies first,
bombs.
yeah.
You know,
Car-
Irish car bombs and
Right.
20s when binge drinking in the Navy and pulling into ports that if you saw Guinness and you recognized it, then you were automatically doing car bombs. So, in fact, like we used to pull into Seal Beach time for days, and it would be so boring. But the clubs and the bars there would be ready for us.
Nice.
A ton of Guinness and Red Bull. It was fun, but that's what I think. And I really feel like because it's a lower ABV, I get to be able to drink a lot of them.
Mm.
I could probably put down 6, 8. And I was younger, so that to me was a lot. Obviously now it's different, but and Guinness, me growing up from an Irish house family whole, like we had a lot of Irish stuff, and my grandfather drinking, my mom. So it was like kind of like, I don't want to say a Bud Light in our house, but it was very regular, regular.
So kind of going off the Irish car bombs, just kind of random stories. I remember I went to a pub one time, and I actually asked for, like an idiot, an Irish car bomb, and the guy just looked at me. He's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, yeah, you got an Irish, and he's like, and then I was like, "Dude, that's probably not the coolest thing to say to an Irish person, an Irish car bomb." Like, yeah, idiot. And then like,
I'm
You should
American.
have ended it off with Pat. Give me an Irish bomb.
I was just like, just give me a Guinness and I'm good. And he's like, all right.
Wait, what is that Irish car bomb? What is that?
It's a Guinness, but it has a
Bailey's Irish
there
cream.
you,
A
thank you.
shot of something.
Bailey's dropped in.
Bailey's.
Bailey's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
And you're just supposed to pound it because if you let it sit, it starts coagulating or whatnot. Oh,
Coagulate.
Now you can take it a step further and put half Bailey's, half 151, drop it in there and take that.
Henry, you sound like you've done that before,
That was back in when I was younger, man.
right?
Same thing, like the Irish car bombs were one of them. And we used to, my buddy would go up on his roof and we had a beer bomb. So he would fill it up with like 6 or 7 Guinnesses, and we would just open the hose and just let it all in.
Oh,
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, good times in your 20s. Can't do that anymore, man.
No.
Oh.
We can try, but we end up falling asleep.
Oh, shit. I was
Wow,
like,
let's
you're,
hear it, man. I'm
you're talking about funneling, right? I haven't funneled in like 25, 30 years. And if you ever remember making your own funnel, if you made if you got a tube that was narrow, God help you, man, because that would have made a beeline right to the back of your throat. It was like high water pressure. Like it would just shoot out the back of your fucking neck because it was such a, you had to have one. That looked really awful, but the one.
that's what she said, man. No worries.
Something you could get your lips around.
Yeah.
Oh my.
He had to throw that
Where
in
are we
there.
going with this?
God,
Do any of you guys drink black and tans? I do like drinking those too.
oh, definitely.
A black and tan that was made, or the store bought ones that you like that says black and tan? Like
No,
a-
no, at the bar. If you ask them to make you a black and tan at the bar, there's a couple Irish pubs downtown San Diego here. I know on one time Rich and I did like a booze. What was that? I think it was for Mardi Gras. You go
Mardi
around
Gras, yeah.
drinks, and we went to a really cool Irish pub down there, and they were making them at the bar. So
Yep.
they're good. I enjoy those too.
So
For one of those.
what's the beers or cider that usually go into black and tans?
I just drink it.
Isn't it Harps?
a stout and a
Harps, yeah, Harps and Guinness.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harps and
Yeah,
Guinness.
typically it's
A
hard.
snake bite is usually
Snake
Guinness and whatever cider you want.
There you go.
Mhm.
That was the
Mm.
difference. Yeah. Go ahead, J-Hope.
So, me and my wife back in our 20s, not too long ago, we love St. Patty's Day, and we would always end up like in a like an Irish pub, like Shenanigans, or like the Op Dublin or whatever, where they have a live Irish band, and they have like Guinness on tap, and of course they got Jameson and all that, and we just go in there and just get fucked up and shit, and then like you see the Irish people in there, like we like throwing up on the curb, like, oh yeah, you did a good job. That means you drink good and all that stuff. But like every time, like they think my wife is Irish because like she was always in there and stuff. So one time we decided to throw a St. Patty's party, and we had nothing but Jameson, Guinness, and a couple of red ales. and we had this Irish game where you just have to take a shot no matter what you choose. You have to take a shot. So
That ended well.
I guess it didn't end well. My brother ended up catching his hand on fire because we lit the shot on fire, and then he drank it, and it got on the table, and he tried to swipe it. His hand was on fire. So yeah,
Everybody was laughing, right, except for him.
he was laughing because he was gone. He had like 5 Jameson shots. You know, I was like, oof.
Well, then he shouldn't have felt anything. He should have like letting people cigarettes.
Yeah, he woke up with a big bubble in his hand.
Jeez.
Like a third.
So I know nobody. We all said that we've never been, but like, do you think that St. Patrick's Day is the same as the equivalent to like Cinco de Mayo here? Like, because in Mexico you don't celebrate that shit, but like
Right.
in they actually celebrate. Is it a big deal out there?
No.
No. Mm-mm.
Wow, so
That's a
just
US
Americanized then, huh?
It was an American thing that the immigrants here started celebrating St. Patrick's Day, so it's American
Oh,
holiday.
Can we
okay.
get a little bit in the history of it? Anybody know about a little bit more about that? Sam, you just said some.
I forget it. My mom told me a million times.
Yeah, I saw some recently.
Okay,
I don't
Google.
remember it, but it's like isn't Saint Patrick not even Irish? It's like a Russian saint or like a European,
Catholic
some
thing, yeah.
Eastern
Oh, wow.
European saint or something like that.
I believe so, but he did go to Ireland, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like that's where he was doing all his good deeds, but he wasn't actually
Right.
Wasn't born in Ireland. Another thing that I was really tripped out on was that green isn't necessarily the big thing. It's green or blue that you wear, and that shows your affiliation with which religion, whether it's Catholic or Protestant. So while in the US obviously it's green, those are some fighting words in some circles, man. So you got to be careful with what you wear on that day. That's interesting.
Dang.
I know a lot of the immigrants when they came over, like on our side of the family, they kind of tried to change their last names. They tried to do a lot of different things because, there was a lot of discrimination about them coming over and taking jobs. Sounds a lot familiar. It's a very familiar kind of immigrant past. So I think that it did start with just them being able to celebrate their heritage and being from Ireland. And I think that was part of it too, to have a day to remember Ireland because they're in America now. And when they first came over, it was really hard. I mean, it was harder in Ireland at the time for most of them. So that's why they came here, was the famine like that. So I don't know. I think that's pretty much the root of it anyway for the holiday, was for them to have something to celebrate here. Home too.
Have you guys noticed, not to get too political, but have you guys noticed that on that day for Irish and Cinco de Mayo, or Drinko de Mayo as a lot of Mexicans call it, the whole idea of celebrating something to be like, oh yeah, I'm proud to be X, Y, or Z, a lot of people have almost like translated to get messed up on that day, which almost is like a slap in the face of the people who were originally trying to celebrate, not drinking, but celebrate, this is where I'm from type thing. To the point that I'm not sure how many Irish are even like discouraged from celebrating St. Patrick's Day, because as a Mexican, Cinco de Mayo isn't really that big for me. Like people are like, oh, it's Cinco de Mayo. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And then I'll hear some of my friends be like, I'm gonna get drunk. I was like, okay, whatever. So I wonder if that's like the same type of thing,
Because you're supposed to be like celebrating your heritage, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak from our family, and it was never like promoted. Oh, let's get fucked up on St. Patrick's Day. That was never the thing. That was always out in town. That was always the stuff that was done out. But in our house, it was all about the food, like the Irish soda bread and the corn.
That's good. Yeah.
Like we hated it because me and my sisters did not like to eat it. But my mom would stink the whole house up with cabbage all day, and that was more what it was like at my house. But it was never like, let's get drunk.
What was the beef? The Irish beef? I forget what it's called.
Corned beef.
Corned beef. There you go.
And cabbage. Yeah.
Ice Queen, can you educate us a little bit on the soda bread, or what's it called?
Irish soda bread. It's like a very, I'm gonna say that Irish food it's just really bland, you know. There's a lot of like boiled meats and potatoes and like, because I mean, from what they had in Ireland, that a lot of people don't realize how poor they used to be. Like my great grandfather would never eat lamb because when he lived in Ireland, that's all he had to eat. And so when he came over to the US and he was ranching farmhands and stuff like that, like he used to say he'd never eat lamb again because it was so, I mean, literally that's all they ate. So they eat stuff like mutton and, you know, not just the Irish soda bread is so like, it's not good. I don't like it. It's like a rock. It's so hard
Yeah, it's
and
hard.
bland. It's like an acquired taste to me, I guess, you know.
What were you saying now?
I'm just saying the Irish soda bread is like it's like a biscuit. It's like a hard rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a biscuit. Yeah.
Irish guys off the boat and they used to eat like all that type of like bland food. Everything was potatoes. Everything had
Yes.
potatoes with it. But they always made fun of the fact that Americans did the cabbage, the corned beef and cabbage. They
Mhm.
were like, who the hell ever and no one ever says top of the morning. No one, not in their area. And they were from Glenamaddie, which is like almost the most southern part of Ireland. And when I worked for them, I barely understood 2 words that they said. It was the hardest Irish accent that I could ever.
That's
Years
awesome.
of trying to understand these people. I just understood, you fucking asshole. That's what I understood. That's pretty much what they said to me every time. You fucking
Yeah.
asshole.
I was gonna say, is that because you heard it the most, Al? Come on, man.
Pretty much. By the way, I just want to make a point of saying that this way, way better than this.
Hmm.
This is
Good. I'm
tough,
glad it didn't
it's
waste
great
buying
enough,
that.
Is that a Guinness in a
better
bottle?
flavor all around. This is bland. I'm not even touching this anymore. It's bland. It has barely any nose comparison to it. So sorry, but
What's that in the can? What is that?
and it's made by Heineken.
Murphy's. So
Murphy's.
So this
Henry,
is Murphy's is very, very dry. It's a dry Irish stout. That's it.
It's
So they had this beer at the place where I went to buy it. It's called Lock Gill Brewing Company out of Sligo, Ireland.
yeah.
It is a Imperial Marshmallow Lucky Charms milk stout.
Oh, jeez. That's liquid
Called
diamond.
yes, that doesn't sound
Chucky
great.
Larms.
What are the adjuncts? Did a leprechaun dip his nuts into it? I mean, like what's
I hope so.
Probably
Yeah,
has
it
like
smells
50
like Lucky
gallons-
Charms, bro.
it probably has like 50 gallons of fluff in there, dude.
Oh,
is it
It
sweet?
tastes like the cereal.
Oh,
He said that so casually.
I don't know if that's good or not. I mean, it sounds like it could be good, but I
Like
wouldn't.
that cereal.
imagine drinking like
You guys, bro. I like Lucky Charms.
Goodness.
So with that being said, we're actually going to cut this episode a little bit short just because we have some business to take care of afterwards. So everybody, let's go ahead and hold up our can. Anybody want to take a picture of it, and we'll go from there.